Hey you guys, welcome back to the C's for Class. My name is Noel. If this is your first time here, make sure you click that subscribe button down below and hit the bell notification so that you can notify when I upload new videos, because I have good content. You're gonna want this, Now, as you can see by the title of the video, this is another story time video, which you guys seem to like, which is why I keep doing them, I got my nails done, by the way. So this story time is about my colorist date. A mess. So this happened last summer. I had met this guy through social media, but he lived a long way away. I wouldn't say a super long way away, but he was about an hour away. But he really liked me, he really wanted to see me. He was talking about, coming to pick me up, and I would go visit him and stay with him and all this stuff.
And I hadn't known him for this long.
Really wasn't, gung-ho about going to go see him. But one day I got a text message from him and basically saying that he was gonna be in my neck of the woods because him and his friend had a weed man that was out here and they were gonna come. So honestly, this really wasn't a date. It was really just him and his friend trying to blow off time, waiting for their weed man to get off work. So they were just hanging out with me. But hey, it's a date, I guess. Now, prior to us meeting, so he self-proclaimed that he was bougie, he's used to a certain type of standard and yada, 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 yada. The dish, the whatever. He was bougie. Or whatever. I currently am living in Suitland, Maryland right now, and I don't feel like Suitland is like that bad. I don't think it's ghetto at all. I don't think it's like that bad. But then again, I've been here for 6 years, so maybe I'm just used to it. So him and his friend pulled up to my apartment. I give them my address. They get out. I meet them. I shake their hands, give them hugs, and then I hop in his car. And he's like, where could we go to hang out? Where's something to do? And me not wanting to go too far from home because I just wasn't feeling like it, I was like, there's Marlow Heights Mall, there's District Heights where there's a lot of food places. So they wanted to go to the mall, so we went to Marlow Heights Mall. And Marlow Heights Mall is not the most glamorous of places.
She just appears to be just a little bit ghetto to me. A little bit ghetto, a little bit hood.
By any stretch of the imagination, it's just not. But it wasn't as bad as they were making it. Everywhere we went, it was like,
oh my gosh, this is so ghetto. This is so ghetto. What is this? Why y'all got that? Y'all got a DMV in the mall? Like, what is this?
Making a spectacle out of everything. Like you would have thought these motherfuckers came from a different planet. So we finally get to the mall, we walk in, and we're in there for like less than 5 minutes. And then the guy that I'm talking to and his best friend are looking around, and the guy that I'm talking to was like,
why is everybody so black?
Now, mind you, this guy was not white, he was not Hispanic, he was not Indian, he was not Native American, he was not none of that. He was black. He was African American. I think he was mixed, but he was light-skinned. He was much lighter than I was. So I kind of just took it back like, what's going on? What are you talking about? I was really thrown off by it because I'm like, there's a lot of black people who live in the DMV area. Like, that's just what it is. Like, a lot of black people live in the DMV area. 2, there wasn't that many dark-skinned people. There may have been like 4 or 5 in the store. And then number 3, like, since when have dark-skinned people not been allowed to go to the mall and shop? Like, they have to get their things just like everybody else. So I was thrown off by that comment, but I was like, you know what? Let me just pay it. Now, as we're walking around, his friend was saying the N-word. Now, I didn't know what race his friend was. His friend was very racially ambiguous. So I was kind of uncomfortable by this. And the way that they were speaking, you would not have, the way that his best friend was speaking and the way that he was speaking to his best friend, you would not have known that he was black. So I was like, this is not gonna end well. They also made a joke about, his best friend made a joke about him being Mexican. He's like, I'm not a fucking Mexican. Like, I don't work a construction job, or some racially insensitive joke about Mexicans. So then I was like, so clearly he's not black, because they're acting like they're not black and they've never seen black people in their entire lives. So I was like, what is going on? Now, his best friend was going through something traumatic. I'm not gonna say what he was going through, but it was traumatic. I wouldn't say he was going through something very, very serious. And it really was none of my business, so I don't know why exactly he told me this. But when he told me this, my thought was, why are you here? All I'm gonna say is, if my best friend was going through that situation at the time, I would not be an hour away from home with them, walking around the mall, trying to hang out with some nigga that I've known for less than 2 weeks. That's just me. So we're walking through the mall and his friend is going through his whatever he's going through. They have people calling his phone and they're arguing back and forth about what they need to do and how he needs to handle the situation. So I'm just kind of like a third wheel at this point. Like, you think that his best friend was a third wheel? No, I was a third wheel. It was basically just them talking and answering phones and arguing and going back and forth, and I was just kind of there. And I was kind of like, this is like a really awkward first meeting. And first impressions are everything. So like, yeah. So far into this date, he's walking around saying that everything is ghetto, and beneath him, they're making racially insensitive jokes. His friend is going through something traumatic and doing a lot of stuff that was really not called for. And he's colorist. So I'm just kind of like, at this point I kind of shut down. I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything. And I didn't drive here and I don't wanna have to walk home or get a lift home. And I'm not one to walk out of dates. Like, I don't like to walk out on dates and stuff just because like I try to get everybody, you know, the benefit of the doubt, you know, try to get through the evening. And this is one of those times I probably should have just walked out, but I did not walk out. We are leaving the mall and his friend points out a guy. He's like, hey, what do you think about that guy? One, if your friend is on a date, I don't know why you would ask his opinion on someone else, how someone else looks. I didn't really give a but I wouldn't do that. So he pointed to this person and he was like, what do you think about that guy? And the guy that he pointed out happened to be dark skinned. So the guy that I was on the date with or hanging out with, chilling with, I don't know why I call it a date. It really wasn't a date, but whatever.
He goes, ew, why do I want to talk to him? He's so black. Like, no, he's not even black. He's purple. What's going on?
Okay. And then he turns to me, he's like, you know, I like chocolate. And he gives me this look like, and I'm very uncomfortable. I'm like, this is gross. And mind you, these are both two black people. Two black people. I'm ready to go. So we get up to the parking lot and I think we're about to go. I'm still not talking, I'm very quiet, I'm very off to myself because I'm just like, I'm uncomfortable in the situation. I don't want to cause conflict. I don't want to get into an argument / fight. So I want to go home. So we get there and then the guy, he unlocks his car and then they start blasting music and just start twerking in the parking lot. I mean, full on ass shaking, speakers bumping, twerking in the parking lot, which is kind of ghetto. And you, after you know, saying that everything around you is ghetto and acting like you're so above this, twerking in the parking lot with your music blasting, that's kind of ghetto activity. I'm just saying, if we was in a gated community, they probably would have called the cops, but what do I know? He was not checking off any of the boxes, clearly. So then we get in the car and we're sitting in the car and he's like, you know, what's going on? Like, you're not talking, like I feel like you're uncomfortable. I'm like, yeah, I am uncomfortable. Like, I didn't want to say I'm over it. I didn't want to say anything because I did not want conflict. Also, these people were like really tall and I was like, I don't want to get my ass whooped. They were like 6 foot, like Amazons. So I was like, I probably am not winning a fight here, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up. And he's like, are you ready to go home? Like, yeah, I'm ready to go home.
It's time. It's been time.
I guess while we're driving, he sent me like a text message and I didn't check it because I was not checking my phone. I was literally just sitting there staring off into space. And he's like, you know, are you sure everything is good? And I'm like,
yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm just ready to go home. I'm tired.
I was making up every excuse in the book just to get out of there. He drops me off. So I get home and I check my phone and I realized that while we were in the car, he texted me and was like, hey, can we talk? Like, I feel like you're uncomfortable. Can we like talk before I drop you off? I didn't see the message until after I got there. But I was like, at this point I was like, I'm never gonna see this guy again and I don't wanna see him again, so fuck him. So then a few hours later, he finally gets home and he's texting me and then he was like, hey, can we talk about like what happened earlier? Like, you were really uncomfortable. And I basically told him like, you were really disrespectful about, you know, the area that I live in. You said some colorist comments. Your friends said the N-word, and I'm not sure if they're black. You also made some, you know, you made some offensive comments about dark-skinned people, and I really don't like those qualities, and I don't see myself talking to you anymore. So then he proceeds to like put laughing emojis, and he is like, well, my friend is black. That joke about him being Mexican and stuff, that was just a joke that we always do. So that wasn't, he is black. And then he was like, you know, I told you before I met you that I'm bougie and I have a certain amount of standards. So the place that you live, like your neighborhood is ghetto, like it is ghetto, like it is what it is. And then he was like, as far as the colors and comments, like I have my preference, like I like what I like, it just is what it is. Like I can't apologize for that. And I was like, cool. we are not gonna speak anymore. I was like, you are entitled to your feelings. Sorry things didn't work out. Wish you the best of luck. I mean, we just not cool. You've got them qualities, I don't like it. That was my colorist date. And honestly, it was really baffling because like, it's different seeing like racism and colorism like online, but like to be in person with somebody who's like really like going there, it's just a really eye-opening situation that I was not ready for it, was not having it. And I don't even consider myself that light skinned. I just feel like I don't feel like I'm that light, but regardless, I am not dark skinned, and I understand that with my skin color comes a bit more privilege, and I'm always gonna use my voice to speak out. And I was not gonna be with no nigga like that, cause it wasn't right. I love you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe. Watch my other videos, and I will see you in the next video.